All right, next up, Farron Balance. Hey, what's up, Farron?
I don't know who this fair and balanced is. This is Harry Carey from Chicago. And I want to know, what's your favorite planet? Mine's the sun.
The sun isn't a planet, Harry Carey from Chicago.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Have a little fun, Nick. How are you?
I'm good.
So I wanted
How
to
are
just.
you?
I'm great. I'm great. Recovering from surgery really well. You would not believe this shit, okay?
Yeah,
You want to know how to lose 60 pounds in 3 months?
you get surgery.
Get a hernia.
A hernia?
A hernia. Yeah. Get a hernia.
Where was the hernia? Was it in your ab or in your back or what?
Well, you normally get hernias in your stomach, but yeah, it was
I don't
that
know.
that's where it was at.
You could have
Mhm.
like a herniated disc too, right? Like in your spine. I've
Oh
heard
no,
that.
no, 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 no. Yeah, no. This was a hernia in my stomach. Yeah.
Look, am I a
Um,
doctor of anything other than law and breasts? No, Farron.
this is true. This is true. No, but it could have been maybe like all of the alcohol consumption, the stress over the last 5 years, covering like the last 5 years in DC. Maybe some of that had some contribution to it, because apparently hernias are brought about by stress and alcohol. So here I was, just a hodgepodge of just a wonderful brewery of that.
I feel like I
Um,
should have all of that then. Stress and liquor hernias? I shouldn't be anything but hernias.
Well, you, sir, then have amazing genes.
Thanks. They
um,
fit my ass nice.
well, and I will say, as from one Pollock to another too, I shouldn't have a hernia, but apparently I did. But no, but I wanted to say one thing that really, really spoke to me, which is the whole reason that I wanted to call in.
Okay.
Because normally I could give two shits. I
Right.
just watch and I listen peripherally. Um, but I was watching the show with you and Megan Fox earlier,
Yeah.
and
Great show.
then great show, and then heard a little bit of what you were saying again on your show, kind of echoing it, and how there's a lot of stuff that's being talked right now within, call it the GOP, the conservative, the libertarian, Republican Party, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And how at the root of all of this is that they don't get anything done. And
Yes.
there's a reason for that. And this is one of the things that I've always loved about you, that you and I have always gotten along on, that I've seen here in DC, that I've said to all of my viewers before, is that when you solve problems, people stop making money. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are talking about right now that I think is really important, do not look at the surface level, folks. And Nick, you're this way too. Right now, we're seeing this whole Target with the trans, Bud Light with the trans, North Face with the trans. There's a reason why all of this is happening now. And it really has nothing to do with these companies like trying to go woke per se.
Right.
There's something called the Corporate Equality Index, which
Mm-hmm.
started in 2002, which was after the AIDS epidemic, which, if you guys know, Fauci messed that one up. We're on locals, right?
Yeah. We're on
um
locals, so you can say
yeah,
anything you want about
perfect.
Fauci.
But yeah,
Fauci
so
fucks little kids. Wait, with vaccines. That's what I said.
well, that, and then I also kind of tried to, like, wipe out the gays. And he, if you look up what Fauci did during the AIDS epidemic, it's literally shocking.
Yeah.
And so in 2002, you had the Corporate Equality Index that came through, and a lot of it was also brought forward to counter the whole, anti-Muslim, how the Muslims were throwing gays off the rooftops, and look at how all of these corporations are so good to gay people. And it was founded in Europe by none other than George Soros and a number of other, big time donors that were coming over from Europe and all that other stuff, right? And a lot of people hear George Soros and they think Alex Jones and turning the frogs gay. But the more and more you hear about the companies that he funds, along with
Dude,
Bill Gates,
he's fucking crazy scary. Like he's a terrifying human.
well, exactly. Well, so every single year since 2002, the Corporate Equality Index has grown to be the largest corporate lobbyist funder in the world, not just the United States, in the world. And basically, it's like their ratings period is from August
Mm-hmm.
to July. And July is kind of when all the tabulations start happening, which is
Oh,
why
so you're
Pride Month is in June.
right. So what you're saying is all these places are getting their woke points in before the fucking ratings month comes in.
Exactly. And
Gotcha.
and if you look at, like, I mean, you can even look it up on, like, even just little Wikipedia where they have little score sheets where it's 30 points for workforce protections. Now,
Yeah.
originally this started for people who had AIDS and that, wanted to get healthcare, because a lot of it was that they weren't able to get a lot of healthcare medications under their employer's healthcare and all that other stuff. So,
Right.
like, it started out good, but just like everything in this country, it starts out good, and then it eventually starts to morph into something else because somebody, reaches their tentacles into something.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a hentai.
exactly, like a hentai. But the point being, though, is that, like, I do understand the whole trans debate, and this guy who worships Satan who's selling stuff at Target. I think a lot of it, people are really flying on that because, let's be honest, okay, and you and I both know this as, streamers who have a show or whatever, or you still do, I quit. But
Yeah.
when you look at a lot of people, many people don't prep for their shows. And a lot of people at Target, they're not going to look up and see, well, let me look up at his website, or let me look up and see what his art is. Oh, he loves Satan. They would have known this before. People just have the internet and they have that access to be able
Mhm.
to say, okay, like, did you not look this guy up? Number one.
Right.
And then number two, being the fact that it's so much easier to put your flag on this whole trans argument rather than, why do you not have lower prescription drug prices? Why do you not have adequate health care? Why are your schools sucking even worse than they did 20, 10, 5 a year ago? Why do you not have anything better that we promised you 2 years ago? But you know what? Here's what's going on now. All of these trans people, and again, I'm not saying that it's not an infiltration at all. What I'm saying is that it's much
It's an easy
easier.
target.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's one of these things where, when you learn about this corporate equality index and how they're all focused on getting this money by the end of the year, when you see how Republicans and Democrats are trying to figure out what social cause can I use, even with Democrats, they had years to codify Roe v. Wade. They never did. Why? They needed an issue every single 2 years for an excuse for you, the voter, to come out and support it, you know?
Absolutely.
And so that's where, like, when you said that, where you were like, you know what, I'm just sick and tired of these people doing these promises and not delivering on anything, but then they're going to start resorting to what length a woman's shirt should be, or, what's going on with this or that. It really hit home. And that's where I think that people need to just start getting a little bit wiser. Look at independent media, look at guys like Nick, look at people like Kim Iverson, Jimmy Dore, a lot of other people, for other information, because you're not going to get it for the mainstream media.
No, exactly. Independent media is on the rise, and it's terrifying the mainstream outlets. That's why they're trying to wrangle control of places like YouTube. That's why places like Rumble are critically important. So it's the democratization of information and opinion rather than the conglomeration of it under companies that are within these fucking equality indexes and ESG bullshit, because all the media is like that. So it's like, how can we trust their reporting on even on these issues? Even places like Fox, so it's like, oh, Fox has kind of a base take. It's like, but do they though? Because they're rated in the same way that everybody else is. So it's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm with you. I'm with
Well,
you.
and
These
like,
shit's insane.
another thing really quick is, a lot of people are all about, oh, well, DeSantis, lifted the COVID lockdowns, and DeSantis did all the trans stuff with the laws in Florida. And it's like, yeah, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't go after the healthcare companies that were going after, like, the little guys like the little old grandmas and grandpas who were paying into the tax system. He overtaxed them. He didn't really fix the schools that much. And he actually let insurance companies get away with a lot of shit, which is why a lot of people in Florida are like, I don't want him to be the president. I'd rather have
Yeah.
Trump, you know?
Yeah, he didn't stop the red flag law shit either. I mean, it's
Yes, another one. Yeah.
he's got a bunch of points against him. I think it's we're left with a lot of shit sandwiches lately on candidates.
Yeah, and so that was the only thing that I like I said, you spoke to me on that where you said we're not getting anything that we want, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm very much get money out of politics and go back to one issue voting where it's one bill, one issue, we're good.
Yeah, I think that could do a lot of good rather than these 1,000-page bloated pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm. So
All right. Well,
have
hey,
a good night, brother.
Thanks for calling in. Catch you next time.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. Next up is